Today's walk starts out at the village hall of Spridlington in North Lincolnshire. Heading south, then west along the road past the church, the route then heads out along Cliff Road for around a mile before it takes the bridle path south towards nearby Hackthorn. Winding its way through the village centre, it picks up another bridle path and then across the fields towards Welton by Lincoln. Passing through this village's centre, the route next turns west along Green Lane, emerging onto the footway across the fields, heading towards the A15. A mile or so before you cross this main road, the route emerges from the fields and tracks along Horcastle Lane before crossing the A15 to pick up the A1500 running alongside the Lincolnshire Showground. Shortly after the road Middle Street, the route picks up the path north to the village of Scampton, and passing along or close to Middle Street, also known of course as the B1398, heads up through the villages of Aisthorpe, Brattleby, Cammeringham and Ingham. Then, curving around the back of Ingham Church, it takes a route east across the fields and then an industrial park before emerging on the A15 for a short stretch southwards. Then it picks up Cliff Road once more, heading east for the final few miles back to Spridlington.
Well, this morning we are setting off from scenic Spridlington in Lincolnshire. Spring is certainly sprung round here in full, and we're going a bit of a loop around my old stamping grounds. I grew up around here, so should be another interesting hike, and let's see what we see. This is the road heading down towards the A15 eventually, but we will be taking a diversion off it. It's a road, not much else to say about it, but reasonably peaceful on a Monday morning in mid-April. Well, after a whole lot of not particularly exciting road, we are onto the path down to Hackthorn. Been a while since I've been to Hackthorn, I have to say. One thing I'm easily noticed about walking here in Lincolnshire over walking in Leicestershire, where I do more regularly, is the earth colour. Back in Leicester, we've got a lot more clay. Here, it's that kind of rich, red, loamy look of Lincolnshire that's just so idiosyncratic of the region. We're looking out that way across the wolds in the far distance to the east coast, about 32 miles that way, give or take. Now today, it's a bit of a red letter day for me because, aside from this being a decent hike somewhere different, I am breaking in my first new pair of boots in 3 years. I've got exactly the same pair as I previously had, just a newer version that have not split completely. Probably means they're not going to be quite adjusted enough for me yet, but we will resolve that as time goes by. As we walk down this route towards Hackthorn. I'd be remiss if I didn't focus in a little bit on some geese. Well, after my encounter with the geese there, a walk with geese is always a better thing. Still continuing down the path towards Hackthorn, and it is a path. I'm quite surprised it's just shown as a normal footpath track on the map. Makes for very easy walking this early in the day. I doubt it will continue once I get beyond Hackthorn and Welton beyond that. We shall see, but this is quite nice. Hedgerow there, nicely coming out as well. But obviously not a lot to see because the hedgerows are a lot taller than I am. If I hold that up, I don't think you're going to see a lot. Oh look, a gap in the hedge. Well, here we are, just coming to Hackthorn. I think I'm going to trust myself on that bridge. Nice little stream. Very nice village. Very exclusive, as I remember from my youth. I certainly didn't live there. Very loud sheep, with plenty of lambs in that field as well. A nice, clear public footpath sign there. Thank you, Lincolnshire County Council. Now this should be an interesting footpath because I last went down it 30 years ago on my bike, admittedly, which I think I got slightly lost because I ended up in the back of a farm, which I'm fairly sure isn't actually this route, or at least not the direct route. But yeah, So far, it's all been public bridleways and roads, so this has actually been, certainly for underfoot, easy walking. I mean, looking at the fields, they are a little damp. Had a week of intermittently heavy rain the last 7 days. But we shall see once I start striding out on them later on. And I think that'll be on Welton. I have a feeling I'm on footpaths then, proper footpaths, not nice bridleways. Well, the bridleways couldn't last forever. Here we are on a nice, proper footpath. Not too drastically muddy underfoot, thankfully. And it's nice being kind of off the tarmac, even if you go faster on the tarmac. Yeah. So my calculations, the 2 or 3 fields, and we will be in Welton. Well, we are now just approaching Welton, the outskirts, northern outskirts, and yeah, it's been a nice trek along some farm path the last mile or so. I'm just making out there in the distance the edge of the mobile home area of Stonecliff Park. I used to live in newspapers there. Oh, the Sunday round was very hard going. A lot of big heavy newspapers. You can see out here in Lincolnshire, plenty of oilseed rape, turning the fields well, I think it's quite a lovely yellow. If you've got really bad hay fever, you can be quite sensitised to oilseed rape. I just find it smells quite musty, but it also turns my clothes yellow if I actually have to walk through it. So later on we'll see if that's going to happen. I have to say this path was a lot easier than when I did it 30 years ago, which I think definitely demonstrates that I must have got lost or veered off the track at some point. Or they've improved it. Oh, you know, things do happen like that, don't they? Anyway, once we've got through Welton, then we'll take a due east and head out towards the cliff villages. Yes, Lincolnshire is not entirely flat, those of you who might think that. It is a big limestone ridge, about 1.5 miles that way. Well, despite the extensive building works that are going on to kind of quadruple the size of the village, Welton is still relatively charming for a large village, verging on a town these days. Not sure I'd want to move back and live there myself, but the centre of the village is still very nice. Now we are on that aforementioned westward path. Squeezing through a gate, which is not designed for any people wearing backpacks. Oh. And into a field with some charming horses. These are very nice earthworks. I do believe this is where I used to come to the gymkhana as a child. Yeah, I know that sounds terribly pretentious. There wasn't much on in the village, so you went to it. We didn't have horses. But there are certainly plenty of lovely looking horses over there. Ooh, an owl box over there as well. Better watch out for any owl exterminators. I do apologise for that. That's probably the caption guy's already done. But yeah, another 1.5 miles of this. Oh look, it's a water hazard. I could recreate the Grand National, only without the protesters and pointless horse death. Mostly with me falling flat on my face. Not about a field ago, I just met a very lovely lady and her very nice dog. Apparently didn't like hats. So we had a chat for a while, and the dog, actually I thought was a lovely dog, actually, quite well behaved, and didn't take exception to my hat, which was good. I know dogs sometimes do, and you always try to be careful around them, you know, overexcite them, or worse, lose your hat. Anyway, she was lovely, had a nice chat. Thing is, I'm thinking, this isn't far from where I grew up. And despite living here the best part of 20 years, I never walked down this path. I never took a stroll in it. I suppose I rode my bike more as a teenager, so off-road was probably less interesting. Oh, well, I missed out on this beautiful field. I did, however, some years later, come potato picking out this way. So I have experienced the field that is most brutal. If you have never done potato picking, try not to. It's not oodles of fun, but all the potatoes I could carry home, that was a major bonus. Well, after crossing a bit of a rough field, trying to avoid where the farmer had just freshly ploughed it, we are still on the path up to Scampton and the limestone ridge. Farm over there, farm storage here at Westhorpe, and what looks like a fabulous route under the trees here, since according to my map the path veers to the left side of the barrier, so that'll be straight through here. Nice bit of cover. Private land, interestingly, according to my map there is actually a footpath straight through there, but I don't want to go that way anyway. Let's go through here, through the, oh look at those trees, look at that lovely blossom there beyond as well. You cannot beat a bit of blossom at this time of year. I would like to say it's cherry, but I could be wildly wrong. It does look like a cherry tree. And look at this avenue ahead of us. Now this is unexpected. I kind of thought this was all going to be fields up to Scampton. This is absolutely one of the joys of hiking and a route you haven't done before, is the serendipity. You just do not know what you're going to find along the way. Hopefully wonders like this. Sometimes it's blocked route diversions that shouldn't exist and farmers who've bolted gates. Today so far, fairly easy going, nice friendly locals. But that's Lincolnshire for you. Well, after all the fun of the fields, now for the next mile or two, it's roads, including crossing the delights of the A15. Surprisingly busy road, this one. This is a very minor road. But then it's cut through to the A15, so what do I expect? There's a saying in hiking, when you've seen one road, you have seen them all. And certainly, there's not much remarkable about this one. In the distance I can now see the traffic on the A15. Hopefully there'll be a nice quiet spot to duck across. If you don't get any more recording on this video, you know, I'll run over. So yeah, that stretch of A15 was fine. Of course, what I've forgotten, I've got about a mile to walk down the A1500. And that's not a fun road. However, what is fun are the excellent views down there into the Trent Valley. Almost makes worthwhile coming down this route. I think another time I will find a way to bypass this bit, although it might mean going a mile or two further south or further north on the route. I'm actually not taking the easy route to Scampton on the road because there is actually a path, a couple of fields down there, so a little more down on the A1500 and then we can go north. Finally off the road again and on a nice track down to Scampton. We're at the bottom now of the ridge, which means we are into a very flat bit of Lincolnshire, although it does mean later on I have to climb back up the ridge. But no matter, it's not too steep. I should climb steeper hills in Leicestershire on a more regular basis. But it's just, it's good not to be constantly having to think about car coming. Must get off road, get on the side. I'm going to say walking on the verges is not great on the legs. They are very uneven. Lots of trip hazards. Thankfully I didn't trip, but yep, glad to be on this. Might be a bit hard underfoot, but frankly I can live with that. As there is the charming centre of Scampton up ahead, a village renowned of course being close to the Red Arrows base, and if you've been watching the news recently, for other reasons too. Let's go alongside the footpath here, a little reservoir, populated by 2 geese. No, some more geese across the far side as well. Which doesn't surprise me, perfect goose location if you ask me. Here we are walking in the middle of Scampton, which has a beautifully huge bit of common land in it. Well, at least I assume it's common land, it might be some farmer's land, but has the feeling of a common in the middle of the village. And, what do I say, a rustic old-fashioned lamp. I wonder if I use a new light at all. There's a village to be described as quite sleepy, it'd be this one. If it wasn't like a mile or so from an RAF base, or an ex-RAF base. I'm never quite sure of the status of RAF Scampton these days, whether it still is an active base or not. one thing we look up when I get home. Obviously there are a lot of historical ties with the RAF in this road, and a church over there. Famous last words there. The route through to the church totally blocked off. One pond, lots of signs saying private, do not enter, a tree that's fallen down over the path that someone's made no attempt to move. So every effort by the locals there to obfuscate any ability to get through. I mean, look at it, it's absolutely gorgeous. The good news is I do know we're coming up very shortly to a route across to Brattleby. Oh, yeah, see, there's the church, that's where I should be coming through, but I'm not going to try and backtrack it and work it out. Yes, I can see that. I don't actually have to go all the way there. I can cut across this lovely meadowland. Daffodils are plenty. My chickens will be very happy with those. And I can see the field beyond it, even more of them. Marvellous. Oh, look, and there's some people on the path ahead, so I can actually work out the direction I'm supposed to head in after this. Even better after that rather tortuous route through Aisthorpe. So Brattleby's very nice. It's not a village I know very much about. The church looks very nice, has a Commonwealth war grave in it. Just had a van driver come past and wave and say hello in a very friendly manner. So, you know, thumbs up. This neck of the woods. And, well, there's the woods. There is supposedly a route I can pick up off this road for one field. I am not 100% convinced I'm going to be able to find it. Or that I've not already walked past it. Supposedly it's after the edge of the village, so we'll find out. I tell a lie. There it is. It's only a short route across the fields, but it does just cut off, you know, a section of roadway, which is always nice. Oh, it's a lovely meadow again. And since I'm well and truly over halfway, I'm about 12 miles in at this point, I think it's high time I broke out some trail provisions. So we're just coming into Cammeringham, which I think is the penultimate village along this route. Well, we bypassed the famous Ingham. Yes, two endings of Norse locations, or Saxon. I'm not quite sure around here. There's a lot of blurring. I used to have a friend who lived here. Although he moved away many years ago, so he's obviously not going to pop in for a cup of tea or anything. I am glad on this linear bit of road that there is plenty of path. So actually it's not too bad walking alongside the road. At least I don't feel I'm dodging the cars all the time. No, turns out I was wrong. We do go straight through Ingham. And Ingham is the last village on the sort of cliff bottom villages. Nice house there to the left. Nice view over there, and some new builds since I was last through this one. But once we get through this village, let's cross some fields, and then we're heading east, back roughly the direction of Spridlington once again. Although we're going via another village first. And so, we leave Ingham, and we go into a very full in bloom field of oilseed rape. I remember in past years, there's always a lot of black-shelled little bugs that come out of here. You're going to get coated if you're not careful. But it's quite a sight. You can almost feel the yellow as far as the eye can see, apart from that green hill up there, which we will be going to. This is, of course, the ascent back up to the top of the limestone ridge. Doesn't look too bad. From my memory, it was much steeper. However, it'll be steep enough for my needs. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, look, there's the path. It goes across the field there. Oh, there's a very strong mustardy smell coming off them now. It's just as well I don't mind that smell. If you don't like mustard, don't walk through fields of oilseed or rapeseed and flour, because the smell is very powerful. Oh, well, that was very unfun. Route, I thought, after I got up that nice hill, all that rape, was, you know, straight across a couple of fields. Turns out, well, the map says a couple of fields, and while there's clearly still a route across it, it's currently undergoing massive industrial building works, where they haven't given much consideration to anyone actually using it as a path. So that's another letter to the council there. And then of course I came out on the junction with the A15 thinking, as I can go across here into this farm estate, and it's like, oh, it's very much a farm estate road, I'm not sure it's public access. So I had to head south along the A15 for a mile, which not a lot of fun. It's why my hat is now tied on, because it got blown off at least once. And I'm now actually back on the original road I came out of Spridlington on. Which is a shame, because I was hoping to go up to West Frisbee and sort of come back across the fields rather than finish off with 2 miles of roads. But on the other hand, my legs are tired, and so am I, so perhaps a slightly easier trudge is not such a bad thing at this end. Well, that marks the point at which I came up to Hackthorn at the start of this. So we're going to be back on the stick of the route for another mile. After this, the original design route didn't have any stick on it, it was a totally round the route. Well, not totally round, circular, I should say. So we've got a diversion. He's going to trudge down the road to Spridlington for another 1.5 miles still. Ah well, at least the sun's come out now, so it's lovely weather. Not too warm, thankfully. Although I am going to be very grateful to get back to the car and the cold drink I have in the ice box in the boot. As you can hear, my voice is beginning to go a bit with the dry air and, you know, being a bit dehydrated now. So here we are, just going back through the end of Springfield and back to where I started from, which is actually the village hall. I have to say, today's walk's been a bit disappointing. There's been far too much road work compared to fields. I was really hoping to get some more fields in today, but with diversions and routes that appeared to be fields and turned out not to be fields, yeah, Lincolnshire is weird that way. Because for a very, very countrified county, the routes and the paths across it are few and far between. Plenty of roads, but off-road, no, much harder to find. Still, it is still a pretty area, and I'm still glad I've come, and I'm even more glad when I get back to the car. I'll do a final wrap up in a few moments, but obviously, if you haven't already, do take the time to like, share, and indeed subscribe to this channel if you want to join more of my walks through the countryside, and hopefully next time, one with more countryside and less roads. So there we have it, end of the route. That's Spridlington Village Hall again, and well, it's turned into quite a lovely day, as you can see, with the sunshine all around me. I'd say shame about all the roads, but it's nice route. Anyway, I shall see you next time for another episode of Walking with Llama Paws.